Welcome to Single Step English, the YouTube channel that takes language learning one step at a time. I'm your host, Steve, and on this channel, we interview language teaching professionals from all over the world. These videos will help you learn tips, tricks, and strategies to achieve fluency. Join us on our journey to become multilingual. Welcome, everybody. This is our interview session here on Single Step English, and I'm very happy to have as our guest today Dr. Philip Riccobono. Dr. Riccobono has an extensive ESL history, having taught in Korea, Japan, where I met him, and now he's a public school teacher in the Las Vegas School District in Nevada in the United States. He is my friend, so I'm going to call him Phil, and I know you're going to call me Steve. So Phil, could you basically fill in the gaps? Tell us about your teaching journey and how you became a teacher.
Wow, thanks for that intro, Steve. I hope I can live up to it. I originally started teaching in the public school system in New York back in the mid-90s, way back when. Got out of teaching a little while, and then I was reborn into EFL or ESL or ELL, Tesol, whatever you want to call it, back in 2010. Went to Thailand to teach at a university there, South Korea, Japan. And I'm actually in the public school, and this is breaking news. I am now transitioning into becoming a school librarian media specialist.
Wow. So congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, so I got that. I'm still in now. I am actually in ESL at UNLV. I teach at the English Language Center there, listening, speaking, and accent reduction course. So I'm still in the ESL game. And then I have the publishing company. But so I've been in education for close to 30 years now.
Wow, very long time. Congratulations on that. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay, so today's topic, we want to talk about ESP, which stands for English for Specific Purposes. And please tell the audience and our viewers a little bit what got you into that field and the challenges that you face producing textbooks.
So I love baseball. As you know, we love baseball.
Sure.
And I have been a baseball scout for close to 13 years now. I now work for a Japanese team. Before I worked for the Philadelphia Phillies. So I saw a need for non-native English speaking baseball players to learn English to improve their communication. There's many times where players will come over to the United States and fail. And a big part of that has to do with their lack of communication, not just general English, but more specifically their baseball English, which is for their job. So I did a Ph.D. at Kyunghee University, and chose my topic as corpus-driven technical spoken vocabulary for non-native English speakers. So basically, that's how the textbook progressed from the dissertation to a paper to the textbook, and it's all corpus driven. For those of you who don't know what Corpus Linguistics is, basically you have a database or a body, corpus means body in Latin, of texts, as many as you can get in there to make it representative of the language and balanced. You don't want to just have more speaking than listening, so you kind of have it well-rounded. From there, you run tests and you identify words and terms that are significant in the discourse community, such as baseball. You could do it with anything, any topic you like, and then you have people check it who are in the field to kind of triangulate the whole process. And that's what I did. And so this textbook is really born out of vocabulary, but to bring it to life, you need videos. I was lucky enough, shout out to John Fitzgerald, who's the director of a TV documentary series called Playing for Peanuts with Wally Backman. He let me use authentic videos from that documentary. There's cussing. There's very, very insider baseball talk, core user talk in there. So basically the textbook covers all 4 language skills, but it's really starts with the vocabulary, and then it branched out of that.
Okay, that sounds wonderful. I'm going to put this up on the screen here. Here's a copy of Phil's book, Baseball English, And that's the front and the back. Really great cover, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like looking at that.
Keeping it simple.
Yeah, no, it's really nice. And some information about yourself. And also, there's your information with the Chunichi Dragons mascot.
Yes, Dawala is his name, or their name. I don't,
Their name, yes. I did not know that. So let me just ask you a question. When you were developing these materials for baseball players, it was based on the corpus approach. And that would also include frequency of words being used in baseball, Phil?
Yeah, so not only are they frequently use these terms, but they've been checked by 6 people in the industry using Paul Nation's semantic rater scale.
Okay.
And they've all come up as very, very important or relevant terms in baseball. So that was the starting point, and everything just grew out of there. All the listening activities, the reading activities, the speaking activities, the writing activities. But the central portion was I had to make sure that they were getting the core user vocabulary for this really niche discourse community.
I see. And the first book was baseball, and since then you have some other books as well. One on soccer, as we call it in North America, but football in Europe and the world. Is that correct?
Yeah. So Kirsten Wachter, she's out of Germany. She's teaching at different universities. She also does a lot of communication training. She's the author of that book. That's a different approach. Sure, there's corpus-based vocabulary in there, but instead of I used a lot of videos from a TV documentary for listening and speaking activities. She actually got really creative, and she created about 10 different characters for the book. And one character's a player, one character's a coach, one character's a blogger, journalist, marketing people. And the book kind of develops around those characters. So it's a different approach, very creative. And it's, I like it. But so, we're not just Sports English Press, my company, we're not just hooked on one approach to making the textbook, but we must have the corpus-based vocabulary in there, because that's the vocabulary that's being used in the field. It's not intuited. It's actually, there's science behind it. There's math behind it, proving that these terms are actually being used in the field.
Yeah. Another reason, actually, I'm a big supporter of what you're doing is I feel that, of course, if students are using language material that they enjoy, they're much more motivated to keep learning, right? They have a vested interest in acquiring this knowledge. I think you'd feel the same way, right?
Yes. And then, sure, they're going to learn baseball English if they're interested in this book, but there's general English terms that overlap with baseball English. There's different speaking points that overlap. So they're going to learn that too. Yeah, I think there's a paper I ran across where people who enter into some sort of ESP, they wind up, the motivation starts there, but they're actually learning general English whether they like it or not.
Right. So it's kind of secondary, and they're just picking it up organically by watching the videos or listening to the material. I think that's really great. So Phil, what else do you have in the pipeline? Did I read something about American football?
Yes, there's an author by the name of John Kowalski. He's actually got ties to Japan. He hit me up on LinkedIn. He bought my book, and we just became, kind of friends, acquaintances. He's a lawyer. He's an engineer. But he's an avid football supporter, and he wants to try to grow it in Japan and really internationally. So he's working on a textbook for that. Glenn Brown, who's a liaison to the Kobe Steel team, the rugby team. Him and I are kicking around this rugby book. And then I have this other children's book that's coming out that's just really 50 terms you must know for baseball. And it's tracing, and they'll see it, an example of it in a sentence, and then they create their own sentences. That should be out by the end of the year.
You're going to need a new webpage. It should be called the Sports English Guy.
I like it.
Yeah, you are the Sports English Guy.
I hope so. I'm glad I still have my foot in Tesol. because when I came over here back to the States almost 2 years ago, I took a job teaching history again, just to get, a landing spot with one ELL class. But I really miss, not only in Japan and in Korea is Tesol, or these organizations like JALT and Co-Tesol. Not only is it great for professional development, it's really a great social outlet too. And I really miss that here. I joined, I'm not going to name the organization, but I joined one, and it was like they had one meeting twice a year, and 2 meetings a year, and a conference that really wasn't a conference anyhow. So I really miss that aspect of it. So keeping in touch with you and other people over in Japan, and still being a member of the Osaka JALT chapter and a member at large, it really fulfills me professionally and socially in some ways.
Yeah, I think being a language teacher is wonderful, because you often have that, aha moment that the students, you're able to teach something and you just see that they understand it and they shake, now I get it. And to get that, it's very rewarding as a teacher.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I think if you're teaching them something they're motivated to learn, like baseball English, it's even more rewarding. I worked with the Chinichi Dragons. We showed that picture before. I worked with some of their players and their front office staff, and it was a real hoot, because it really was. You didn't feel like you were teaching because they were so motivated. It was just really a fun, rewarding process.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I'm really happy for you. I know when you got started, there were a lot of questions and it was challenging, and it's nice to see where you are now, and you've got 2 books published and a 3rd one, and 4th one, it seems like, on the way. So I think that's really exciting.
Yeah, and you and I still have to talk about that basketball one.
Yes, it would be a joint publication between Akebono Press and your press.
There you go.
No, we'll work it out. But I think a basketball one would be wonderful too, because professional basketball, obviously, now it's a very international sport. And you see that even in the NBA, I think close to half the league are players that were born in foreign countries now. And
is that right? Wow.
I think it's really high. I can't say it's half, but it's really quite high. And of course, Canada and Australia and Serbia and Croatia have great basketball programs. So I do think it's quite high. I know when I was a kid, it was just a few players, but now it's really prevalent. We can see it.
And there's big leagues all over the world now. You know, China and Europe, like you said, Israel.
So Phil, if somebody has an idea, if they want to publish a book about sports, can they contact you? Or
go over to sportsenglish.org. And my contact information is there, and hit me up. I'd love to hear from you. In fact, the soccer book or football book, you and I were at a conference, a virtual conference through the Business SIG or something.
Yeah, that's right. The Business SIG at JALT. Yes.
And I put a call for authors, a call for books, and one came in, and that materialized. So yeah, absolutely.
That's good to know. And I'll put that in the description down below this YouTube video. I'll put Phil's link down there, and you can contact him. If any of you have an idea for a textbook, or you're curious, want to see his materials, I'll put that link down below. Okay.
I just got in trouble here. I ate my son's goldfish, so I'm in trouble.
You ate his goldfish? A real live goldfish?
No, the crackers.
The crackers.
The American treat goldfish, one of my favorites. I'm sorry, Sean. Goldfish. I'll get back to you in a few minutes.
Tell him you'll buy him some more.
Yeah, I'll get you a whole bag, all right? Okay.
Okay.
All right, Steve.
Thank you for being a guest on the show today. I really appreciate it. Good luck with all the books, and keep churning them out. I think they're wonderful for people. So thanks so much, Phil.
I appreciate all your support, Steve. And people need to go out there and buy your book, Step by Step.
Yeah. Single Step English.
Single Step English, excuse me.
My site. And A Step to English Communication is my first book. And my second book about business is Think Big for Business. It's a 2-part series. You can just check on my description below. Thanks, everybody.
Yep.
Yes,
and all the videos too that you're making. Yes. Little mini lessons.
Yes, they're good. Please use them or pass them along to the ESL department in your school. I'd appreciate it.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Steve.
Take care, Phil.